Welcome to Monday the 16th of December, closing in on Christmas very quickly. Certainly a lot of the favourite tourist areas starting to fill up as Daisy comes to join us on the program. So great to have you with us. Now, there has been a lot of rain in parts of southern Thailand, all on the Gulf of Thailand coast. This side of the coast, which is the Andaman Sea, had pretty much no rain at all, just a few spits here and there. But on the other side, been torrential rain and a lot of flooding. Let's go to the map. So this is early this morning. Just to give you some context, we've got Bangkok up here. I've circled Phuket, and you can see that swathe of rain all the way from, say, about Chumpon, all the way down and past the Thai-Malay border, but only on the Gulf of Thailand coast. We go to the map and we can see that torrential rain this morning, and we go through to tonight. This is projecting forward to 11 o'clock tonight, and it looks like the rain is going to be easing during today. And Thai PBS World reports flood warnings for Suratani, Nakhon Si Thammarat and Songkhla. And we'll see during the report that they've dropped Chumpon from flood warnings. Let's go into the details. People in the three southern provinces of Suratani, Nakhon Si Thammarat and Songkhla are being advised to brace for more heavy rain and a possible new round of flooding from, that should be today, until Wednesday due to a new cold front from China. It's always China's fault. The rain has now eased off in Chumpon and will increase in Suratani and Nakhon Si Thammarat from Monday until Wednesday. In Hat Yai, the water level in the Utupao Canal is only 4 centimetres below its banks. The water level in the Tapi River in Suratani is 43 centimetres below its banks. Water levels in the Sao Tong and Tadi canals in Nakhon Si Thammarat remain high and are expected to increase in Patani, Yala and Naretawat. This is right down south in Thailand on the Malay border. And many rivers close to the Patani River are still engorged. And with the expectation of more rain until Wednesday, flooding may worsen. And Assistant Professor Ton Tamrong Nasewat interviewed Ton a number of times, a renowned marine biologist. He posted in his Facebook today that the rain bomb, that's a wet microburst phenomenon, has become more frequent in Thailand as the global climate warms up. And just referring to the floods up in the north a couple of months ago, he cited the rain bombs in Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, and recently Chumpon, which resulted in unusually heavy flooding. Now here's a couple of videos that were on Instagram. This is Koh Tao, the island of Koh Tao in the Gulf of Thailand, just a ferry trip from Koh Samui. Clearly some extremely heavy rains are affecting that island. And another video from the same publisher on Instagram, and showing those torrents of rain flowing down the streets of Koh Tao, making life pretty hard for the local constabulary to get to people, obviously trying to help, but being stuck themselves. And the torrential rains finding their way to the Gulf of Thailand and taking plenty of sand with them. And those videos were posted on Instagram by Aline Explores. Well, hopefully she and other tourists in the area are okay, not so these poor people on Koh Samui. And this is a posting on the Khaosod English Facebook page. More than 20 fellow Myanmar workers gathered to mourn their colleague's death. And the headline and article you can check in Khaosod English: 2 Myanmar workers dead in Koh Samui construction site landslide. Then too, this article posted in Bangkok Post, it talks about floods in 4 southern Thai provinces affect bus train services. And this article posted a little bit earlier when Chumpon was still suffering some severe flooding. And the Director General of the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation said the flooding affected 43,595 families in the 4 southern provinces. And the State Railway of Thailand said yesterday that due to flooding in Chumpon, it suspended special express, rapid and freight trains from Bangkok to Hat Yai, Kantang, Nakhon Si Thammarat, Padang Besar in Malaysia, Sungai Kalok, Trang and Yala. So the south in Thailand again hit with torrential rains, as we can see from the reporting and the radar. The flooding and the rains are on the Gulf of Thailand side. People coming to, say, Phang and Phuket, well, at the moment there's no heavy rain, although it has been quite overcast. Acknowledging the support of 5 Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. Even today with the overcast weather here, I usually think these days are preferable. Maybe you don't get the bright sunshine, the bright colours and the turquoise waters, but it's usually a little bit cooler and more settled when you head out onto the water on these days. But big thanks to our sponsors. Now we go to this story, and it just was reported after I'd finished my Friday program, but I would like to refer to it. And reported in thepattaya.news.com, Thai Australian teen stabbed to death in Sattahip altercation. And back on December the 10th, police in Sattahip were alerted to a fatal stabbing outside a local grocery store. A 14-year-old Thai Australian boy was found lying in a pool of blood on the store's steps with a knife lodged in his back. The knife's broken handle was discovered nearby. The victim's distraught mother and sister stood at the scene in shock and disbelief. Initial investigations revealed that the victim had recently been in a dispute with a schoolmate. The two, both minors, reportedly arranged to settle their conflict, which escalated into violence. The suspect, also 14 and a senior at the same school, allegedly followed the victim to the store, stabbing him once in the back before fleeing on a motorcycle. The victim collapsed and succumbed to his injuries despite attempts to seek help. An hour later, police quickly tracked the suspect to his home, located just 400 metres from the crime scene. He was taken into custody along with his parents. Both the victims and the suspects' names have been withheld due to their status as minors. Some more recent information from news.com.au, a Murdoch publication. Family breaks silence after teen killed in horror stabbing in Thailand. Some heavily edited video has emerged from CCTV and published on the Sky News website. And the victim's devastated family spoke with Newswire to pay tribute to, well, he's been named as Lucky, as they prepare to say goodbye to their much-loved family member during a cremation ceremony on Sunday. Speaking on behalf of his family, his cousin Bertrand de Lecour told Newswire the family were deeply saddened by Lucky's death. Lucky went to live with Mr. Bertrand and his family for 12 months when he first moved to Thailand from Perth. Well, just 14 years old, and that story getting a lot of coverage, as you can imagine, in Australia. Heading to a bit of a follow-up on the murder up in Prachin Buri last week, we go to ThaiPBSWorld.com. Search continues in Prachin Buri for more suspects in ex-councillor's killing. And police have searched 5 more locations in Prachin Buri, looking for suspects who may have been involved in the killing of Chaimet Sitisanitpong, a former Prachin Buri provincial councillor. About 100 officers were involved in the search of 3 locations. No suspects were found. However, it's believed that they had left their houses on or shortly after December the 11th. It's reported that the Crime Suppression Division officers will join the provincial police in searching 5 additional locations today. A police report claims that all the suspects wore canvas shoes when they entered Suntorn's house on December the 11th and didn't take them off, which is culturally highly unusual in Thailand. I suppose that infers that the suspects were planning on making a hasty retreat. The 7 suspects, including Suntorn, are being held on remand pending the outcome of the investigation. All are charged with premeditated murder. That shooting, one of 3 shooting incidents over a span of 10 days up in otherwise very quiet Prachin Buri. As we head to Pattaya, and some excellent reporting here from the PattayaNews.com, including some great video as well. Saudi tourist swims for 5 hours to shore in Pattaya Bay to get help for wife after their jet ski capsized. So it says a thrilling rescue operation was mounted this morning. This is very early on Saturday morning after a Saudi couple's jet ski capsized in Pattaya Bay. This happened just after midnight when the Pattaya Marine Disaster Prevention Unit was alerted to a distress call concerning a tourist couple whose jet ski had met misfortune in the heart of the bay. Responding swiftly, the unit coordinated with the Pattaya Tourist Police and rescue volunteers to rush to the scene. When they got to Jomtien Beach, they found a 26-year-old Saudi national who had managed to swim to shore in search of help for his wife. His wife, she's 26, she was stranded in the water with the overturned jet ski. The man had amazingly swam well over 2 kilometres in the dark. And it said he was visibly exhausted and he'd been swimming for over 5 hours before reaching land. The couple had rented the jet ski for an hour on Jomtien Beach, but after their return time passed, without their reappearance, the jet ski operator initiated a search. It was only after the man's dramatic swim to shore and the subsequent social media alert that rescue operations could pinpoint their location. And it says that Ms. Al-Amri was found approximately 2 kilometres from the shore, clinging to the capsized jet ski, her life jacket her only safeguard against drowning. She was shivering and weak, but she was safely brought back to land. And at the end of the article, the writer, Adam Judd, points out that the incident had nothing to do with the Jet Ski World Cup, which was currently taking place off Jomtien Beach. But a remarkable story. I mean, fancy swimming for 5 hours in the dark in Pattaya Bay. And just very quickly on TNT, I'd like to point out an article that you may like to read. I've put a link in the description of today's video, and it's been written by Prawit Rojanapruk, the senior writer at Khaosod English. An excellent article, much I probably can't read. I will read a few bits and pieces, but there is a link if you'd like to read the rest. And the article's entitled "The Naked Truth About the Rogue Thai Army." And just noticing the photo there, 3 Thai prime ministers, all in one photo. And this all follows a botched attempt by the Per-Thai party to try and come up with mechanisms to prevent or certainly reduce the possibility of future military coups. I'll just go to this article, this paragraph. It was a farce that the civilian head of government has to openly admit it can't control one of its ministries, the Defence Ministry. It's also proof that Thailand is not yet a full democracy. Call it partial democratic, semi-democratic, or what you will. The fact remains that the armed forces, particularly the army, remain a state within a state and exist in a sort of delicate and unspoken power-sharing agreement with any civilian government. Basically, the golden rule is that you let the army do pretty much whatever they want, do not try to interfere with how they run their affairs, and perhaps the PM will complete his or her term without being ousted in a military coup. There's plenty more in that particular article, an excellent opinion piece by Prawit Rojanapruk, and I'd recommend it to TNT readers. A link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching today. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand. Acknowledging our sponsors, 5-Star Marine and Beach House Thailand. I hope the rest of your Monday is spectacular, and we'll see you tomorrow.